Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and in this video we are going to review Star Wars Squadrons. And yes, I know it took me a while to make this video because I wanted to get enough multiplayer gameplay and finish the campaign to emit a final judgment, but that is not the case, so here we go. Let's see what this baby's got. And first we are going to start with a negative note, and that is going to be the very first experience that we have with the game, the character creation process, which is, let's be frank, one of the worst I have ever seen in the video game. You can only choose between 10 different faces, six of which are female, and being a blonde, blue-eyed male individual, the only option available on both sides of the New Republic and the Galactic Empire, looked very far from how I like my avatars to look like. And given Lucasfilm's history under Disney to try to alienate their core fan base, I really think that this was done on purpose. Also, be very careful, because even if you choose a male character, you will still have a female voice set as default, so make sure to set both voices as male voices if you don't want that to happen. Alright, now that being said, let's talk more about some of the core elements of the game, and I will start with the campaign, which introduces you to the core mechanics of the game. It starts with an interesting prologue that takes place right after the destruction of Alderaan and puts you into the shoes of both an Imperial pilot and a Rebel pilot, which will allow you to see both perspectives from both sides, which is a clever idea and a great nod to how the single-player aspect of X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter was, which is something that Ian Fraser, the lead developer of Star Wars Squadrons, often referred to as being his benchmark for the game. What I appreciate about the campaign is that it is not just about blowing TIEs or X-Wings up, but there are also other objectives that follow the footsteps of classic Star Wars space sims, such as escorting a particular ship or protecting boarding or extraction crafts. Overall, the campaign took a little bit more than 15 hours, but it can be much shorter, as some people have reported finishing it in just 6 hours. However, honestly, unless you play in story mode, which is like the super easy mode, if you are not used to playing this type of game, I don't think that it is possible. Now, another reason why it has taken me that long is because I spend the time to listen to everything the NPCs have to say, and I have to say that these monologues actually are often god-awful, especially on the New Republic side. They constantly need to remind us of how they are the good guys and they fight for the good side, and talk about how bigoted their fathers are in the Empire, or if they even use, the lead writer of the game even said that they are using strange pronouns to designate some of the characters that grammatically don't make any sense, and I found them so profoundly unlikable that while I was playing on the New Republic side, I wish I had the choice to just kill them and defect to the Empire. That's how bad it was. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm all for inclusion and diversity, but please do it right with good characters like Lyndon James, for example, or Hera Syndulla, or even Frisk. Speaking of diversity, there is clearly a domain in which the game lacks, and that is the diversity towards ship models. You see, despite its limitations, Squadron's predecessors had an incredibly large amount of vessels, and it really gave the impression that we were part of a huge galaxy populated by a myriad of vessels going by their business. That is not the case in Squadrons, where it feels that the same assets get recycled over and over again, and unfortunately it gets boring very quickly. Luckily, the campaign's missions are quite action-packed and encourage enough micromanagement in cockpit to keep players busy. And very often I ended up quite surprised to see that I spent more time playing than I thought, which is a good sign, as when you encounter this feeling, it means that you are usually enjoying yourself, and I clearly enjoy myself quite a few times playing Star Wars Squadrons. But now let's talk about the multiplayer aspect of the game, Squadron aiming at being a spiritual successor to X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, which is something that was previously mentioned earlier in this video, and it is only natural for the multiplayer aspect of the game to be at the center of our attention. And what I'm going to say is that despite being limited to 2 different modes and a few maps, it really is a lot of fun thanks to a well thought out balance. It really requires some skills and cunning strategy to shine, which is really nice. Now, it doesn't come without its issues though, and first I find it weird that there is no ranked starfighter mode. You can only be ranked in fleet battle mode, which I think is very unfortunate for anyone who enjoys pure dogfighting contests without any interference from AI or a capital ship. Next, when doing ranked missions or ranked fleet battles, anyone leaving the game before it starts makes the game unranked. But if you leave because you think that your time is being wasted, then you are getting penalty too, such as an automatic loss, for example, which is also bad if you are all about having good looking stats. I also think that it is again some poor design decisions here, and I hope that this gets fixed too, because a lot of competitive players are going to find this very off-putting. And finally, let's talk about the technical aspects of the game, and from the get-go it clearly appears that the game was designed to run on 60 frames per second on as many PCs as possible, as it was also designed for consoles of the last generation, which is why quite a few of you have criticized the game in the comments section down below for not looking that great, and compared to games like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, that clearly is the case. But anyone familiar with classic Star Wars space combat sims, they will tell you how mind-blowing and immersive Squadron looks, so your perception may vary depending on your gaming background. The game is best played with a joystick or HOTAS, and I have not encountered any issues with my old Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. The only issue I have is with the ranked system, which is completely broken at the moment and needs to be fixed as soon as possible, something that the devs said that they're working on, but about a month after the release of the game, it still is not the case, unfortunately. In the end, I would say that Star Wars Squadrons is to me another major letdown for several reasons. The ranking system is so broken that after 2 hot fixes, it still doesn't work, making competitive gameplay, which is one of the key features of the game, totally useless. Then, it had the opportunity to redeem EA and Star Wars with the fans, yet it squandered that chance by shoving identity politics down our throats at every single occasion the writers had, and that is shameful. I really wanted to love this game. I enjoy its flying mechanics, its game mechanics, and I find it beautiful compared to previous Star Wars space combat sims, and I thoroughly enjoy the multiplayer modes it offers, but the very insidious nature of its narrative is utterly disgusting in my opinion, and that is why its final score is an 11 out of 20. It could have gotten so much more if its maker hadn't decided to be fools, and now it is paying the price for its lack of vision. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to leave a comment and leave a subscribe if you think that I did a good job. Our next game review is probably going to be Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. That's not going to be another good one, and I'm really forward to showing you this one because there are a couple of interesting things to talk about. Once again, guys, this is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.